I'm driving around and going from one place to another. Wanted to update a video really in relation to online tomfoolery. Online tomfoolery. Where are we at? There we are. Online tomfoolery. And this is going to be dark because I do not have really a good way to edit it, and it works for me because then I don't have to worry about putting a shadow out the back of my window or on the side either. But tomfoolery online. You know, generally I'd like to come here and speak about politics, what's going on in the world, and not personal bullshit. You know, if you haven't noticed, when I come online and I leave videos, I'm really not making videos that are full of drama of who said what to who and what's going on with interpersonal stuff for anyone else's life or my own, for that matter. You know, and that is intentional. So, you know, if you ask me questions that are going to be personal, I'm not going to answer them. And if you catch me at a moment where I'm having like a PMS, or just I've had my limit met with putting up with bullshit today, then I'm not going to answer you, or I might say something back that's rude. But just remember this. When I really go after and do anything or say anything that isn't nice, I really am not on the attack. I am more for defend, protect, not attack, destroy. But that being said, it easily flips to attack, destroy mode when someone's being a fuckwit. Okay? So that's that. And I most recently had the displeasure of having someone who befriended me turn and then just go kind of bonkers. I really wanted to reach out to a female base. I really did. Because I feel like, I love all my male viewers, and you know what? Ultimately, I have absolutely no problem with people making commentary to say about anything about my titties or whatever else. It's just what it is. And believe it or not, I can tell whenever people are saying it to just be kind of a little bit devilish and, they want to get that out. Or when they're saying it because they're really trying to troll. It's amazing. People can say the same exact thing, but the sentiments could be taken much differently. But here's the issue that I have with wanting to reach out to a female base. Now, this person who I'm speaking of came across as a female, and I happen to believe at this point, and I'm sure you're watching because that's what people like you do. I obviously didn't trust you because that's why I didn't confide certain things in you, and with good reason. Ultimately, we see this now. But I really wanted to reach out on the happenstance that at the end of the day, even if you were a guy and you were pretending to be a female, or if you were just some fucked up female that has deep-seated jealousy issues and whatever, because that's the only reason why someone's really, I think, not going to like me at first. If somebody doesn't like somebody, you just don't watch them, unless there's something that's so offensive. Of course, there could be a pool of people out there. I bash the SJW, so maybe you kind of targeted me and wanted to kind of get at me at some different angle. So be it. That could be so. I don't know who has that much time in their day. Well, I do. Or it's people that have no life. They have no life. They maybe have no job. They maybe have no family. They might likely have no close friends. And so this is what you take up and do. I really just don't have the time for that. And unfortunately, my patience level to even interact with anybody is going to come to a slow grind of a halt. me that to think that this was actually a female who actually just had to try to be friendly to me, to try and go around the back way, to be nice, just to kind of be catty, you know? And, you know, without having to go in and explain all the intricacies, it's not even that you were that unassuming in your disposition. Of course, people are weird. I mean, I just thought maybe you were weird, and I don't even say that in a bad way. I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. You know, there's plenty of times I do that. Like, I'll come out the gates. I won't know someone, and I'll just instantly feel some sort of camaraderie with them. So I kind of stick myself out there. I'm friendly or whatever because I don't put my guard up. And this is what really makes me insane. True insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. You know, I always like to say it is different all the time because people are different, and I can't hold the transgressions of one person against the next person. It tends to become difficult to maintain that thought pattern when the result is ultimately unpleasant. Now, this person also said to me a lot of kind of crazy stuff, which makes me wonder, is there something with their safety, you know, in concern of their safety? I don't know. I hope not. I really hope not. I don't have the time to go and do private investigation work, to track anyone down, to follow up on anyone. I'm sorry. I do not. I'm not playing that cat and mouse game. So I guess, you know, adult conversation, comments back and forth on a platform where everyone can just be semi-respectful but yet voice their opinions and so forth is wonderful. And out of all the comments, you know, out of everything, I, you know, really kind of cringe whenever people just are not who they say they are. They talk shit about anybody else, and then they have like a fucking initial for their avatar. I mean, I laugh in regards because I look at that and instantly know what a dim-witted, shallow, insecure person they are. Particularly when they're lashing out at others, and this is where they're coming from. What's creepy, though, is when people kind of create personas with real pictures and then go ahead and act like they're that person. That's kind of psychotic. And this is just to throw out there. I look at dealing with crazy people as I look at, let's say, I'm in fear for my life. And I'll just put it at that, right? I think y'all are smart enough to understand what that means. Okay, so what else are we going to talk about? I guess this is going to be my weekly updates because I'm very thankful that Hurricane Irma does not seem to be making its way to where I'm located. There was question about it, and I think that we're going to be spared this time, and I'm very thankful for that. So, but I am still going to be diligent to try and see if there's any way, you know, anybody would need help. These hurricanes are pummeling us this year. I feel like it has something to do with the moon. You know, solar eclipse that we just had, and the moon's been very low. Yeah, so many things in the political arena. Yeah, and I don't edit. Like, there are so many times where I hear myself and I'm like, oh, I really just would edit that out. Like, I don't even know why I stuck that in there because I'm just rambling. I'm not even going to do that because, first of all, I don't have the time to do that. as always, I'll post links in the description box below just for you to follow on anything that I throw out with any sort of substance, not my rambling about my stupid shit, but yeah, so where he is basically going against the DACA. This was in 2009. I found that to be very interesting. I want to see, I mean, who has the records of money exchanges of these people? It would be so easy to determine exactly what's going on and what has been going on for the past 10 years if we were just able to ascertain financial documents from everyone. And sure, yes, obtain them from Trump as well. I mean, I wouldn't say not to. I think that whenever you have people running your country, making your decisions, deliberating, dropping bombs, and the defense of our country, and spending your tax dollars, we ought to pretty much be able to inspect anything we want. Yes, FOIA sounds nice, lovely. It sounds just spectacular. Just your Freedom of Information Act. When you don't have people like Hillary Clinton destroying fucking emails so that you can't get them. But even then, when you try, this isn't something your everyday average citizen is going to go ahead and do. This takes a team. You know, you have establishments like Judicial Watch, who I highly recommend. Very excited about Judicial Watch today. Came out and started talking about, are you ready? The deep state. And not just so much even in general, but in relation to how they are pulling strings. They're pulling strings in the Trump administration. And, well, it appears there's going to be a series on this, so I definitely am looking forward to that. Because, mentioned this in a video before last, the deep state does exist. And some people now, you know, the buzzwords, you know, it kind of goes back to not trusting anyone. When even, you know, Tom Fitton, I think he's a very stand-up guy. I have no reason to not believe him. Well, I mean, I guess I do, but not really. It's not that there's a history of some sort of discrepancies or dishonesty that would make me not believe him. But he is someone who's very noteworthy of presenting information and going after the, quote, deep state, filing the FOIAs. They have hundreds of them out there where they can't even get the information. They can't even get the information. If an organization like Judicial Watch cannot get the information, and I don't want the fucking information that they'll hand over to me. That's not the fucking information that's really going to be doing any good. No. You want the information that they don't want to give to you. That's the exact information. If you want to figure out what information you should be reading, find out what information they won't let you read. And then you'll know it's the important stuff. It's pretty easy. Find out what they do not want anyone to see. And that is exactly what everyone should be beating down Washington for. We get so caught up and busy and distracted. Oh, it's football season now. We got hurricanes, and we got football season, and we got new movie releases, and we have just everything. So what was that thing about the DWS? Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Oh yeah, we're not really talking about that too much. We're just kind of letting that fade out. What was that whole thing about the Charlottesville episode? You know, what happened there? Oh, we're not going backwards. We're trying to kind of stay away from anything. Black Lives Matter's gotten real quiet lately, haven't they? You haven't heard a fucking peep out of Black Lives Matter since Charlottesville. Not a fucking word, not a peep, nothing. You haven't even really heard anything about Antifa. So much, have you? word white nationalist. I just assumed it was a nationalist, a nationalist, nation patriot who was white. I'm thinking, okay, so then there are black nationalists, there are Chinese nationalists. The point is nationalist. The common denominator there would be nationalist. Everything else is just added adjectives. Don't hear anything about those. No. Why? Because, see, the weather is changing, in so many more ways than one. It's not just about the hurricanes coming in and wiping everything down. This is really what the political theater does, too. Creates hurricanes, and it levels everything, Think of every single flagrant story that they try and conjure up that has nothing behind it. Oh, yes, how do we not mention the Russia for months? This was what we were being told. He's going to be impeached. Now, I know some very fine people in real life who are trying to tell me, Trump won't be in long. He'll be out. Of course, they cannot tell you anything except for that it's because of this Russia collusion, which wasn't true. So then where did they turn? Where are all those females that Trump grabbed by the pussy? Where are all of those people? Now see, to commit a sexual assault is a crime in which I personally believe if it's in the act of, you should be armed and ready to kill someone. Nobody is allowed to touch your no-no areas unless you permit them. And that goes for men and women alike. So, considering the penalty that I feel is appropriate for such a crime, I likewise feel that when people make up shit that doesn't happen, when people fabricate information of that they were sexually assaulted in any way, and it is a lie, it is fabrication, that punishment for that lie, which it actually should be treated as attempted homicide. That person should be charged with an attempted homicide charge, because really what would have happened was homicide, according to really where I believe that, this happens. And, by law, I'm not a lawyer, but I do believe that, yes, you do absolutely have the right to defend yourself with deadly force if someone is sexually assaulting you. So that person who's made up that story and lied, they should be held accountable for an attempted murder charge. So these women who basically turned around and said, Trump grabbed me by the pussy, and there were up to a dozen of them. I mean, a lot of them fell like flies quickly on, but where's the follow-up with that? I think I want to make a list of all these topics. There are so fucking many of them that have no follow-up. I mean, these stories just fizzle and die because there's always something new to take its place. There's always something new to take its place. And I'm not saying that the news stories don't deserve their own platform and, to air out. But there are enough people in the world that if journalists actually took up journalism, that each and every one of these stories could be hashed out with facts, followed up on. There are enough lawyers and legal representation in the world as well to prosecute and hold people accountable. We've got to start doing this. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, I thought about going to law school. I did the whole LSAT thing and all. And it's really kind of good that I did it in a lot of regards, because had I done that, I probably would be in fucking jail by now. I would be. I'd be in jail. I'd definitely be a fucking prosecutor. I wouldn't be no fucking defense attorney, I can tell you that. I wouldn't be able to live with myself. But, wouldn't you feel bad if you prosecuted somebody who wasn't guilty? No! There are plenty of people in the world to prosecute that admit guilt, they are guilty, that don't get the penalties that they should have. A lot of them wear very expensive is to fuck over the middle class white person. These people don't even make any sense. They're so illogical that, I mean, it's almost like if I wanted to like go on a trip, like I've never done LSD or any of that, but if I wanted to like go on a trip, I wouldn't even need to take any sort of artificial substance. All I would have to do is cue into any fucking leftist lunatic talking, and it would be like I was on another plane. It would. That's exactly how it would be. It would be like I was on a plane. All right. Well, I am almost at my destination stop, and I will go ahead and upload this just purely for a vlog. I really wish there were a way for me to put this in a file that were only for just a few people who actually just listen to this rambling and for whatever reason. Maybe I'll just send links out. I don't know. Everybody out there, stay safe in the weather that is upon us, and I hope you're prepared for what's to come. And we'll check back with you next week. Have a good weekend.